Get it going. Hey everybody, good to see you. I'm here with Karen Aguilar.
Hey everybody.
And if you can hear us okay, if you don't mind, just go ahead and type yes in the comments or okay, something like that. That'll help us out. And what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be talking about a person that's buying a home while they're also selling a home. And one of the things that they can do, an important first step. But before we get started, I just want to mention real quick, if you're serious about selling a home or buying a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you to buy or sell. You might not. Either way, we're happy to give you some great advice, point you in the right direction. And you can go to showcasecall.com to schedule a time to talk with us. So now let's get into it. What we're talking about is we're talking about if you're going to sell one home and buy another home, kind of how that process works and what some of your options are. And the question that we get a lot is, somebody asks us, do I have to sell the current home in order to buy the next home? And that really depends on different factors. So we're going to talk about that today, and we're going to talk about some of the advantages of actually being able to being able to buy before you actually sell the current home. So that's what we're going to cover. And this is a topic where sometimes people are kind of confused, especially if you've never sold before. Mm-hmm. So if you've bought, but you've never sold and you're not really sure how that works, we're going to get into detail on some of that. But sometimes people, what would you say? They're probably like worried because they don't know how it works, or maybe they're a little bit afraid because, fear. Sometimes they're just not really sure. And sometimes people worry that maybe they're going to get kind of boxed into a corner if they've got to sell one house to buy the next. And they are afraid that they're going to have to take an offer on their house that maybe is kind of low because they have to, sell it to get the next house. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And if you're just joining us, I just want to throw this out there. If you're really serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. You might want us to help you with that. You may not. Either way, we're happy to give you some great advice, point you in the right direction. And there's no cost or obligation or pressure from us at all. You can go to showcasecall.com, click a few buttons to get scheduled with us. And so let's just go ahead and get into it. So Karen, let's say that somebody, some people, some buyers, they can actually qualify to keep the current house and buy the next house. Why do you feel that's important for them to find out early in the process instead of waiting kind of late in the process?
Well, first of all, is because you want to find out about that because it's going to help. As an agent, it helps us how to go about the contract, how to negotiate, what are we trying to accomplish? And it also kind of gives us an overview of, okay, the asset that you currently have, the property that, you're trying to sell, how long is it going to take? So there's, and we don't go into a lot of details about all, with the client. This is all happening kind of in the background, but an agent, will consider, okay, it's taking so many days or whatever, or this is a really hot, neighborhood. A house only comes out once a year or whatever the case might be. So you want to be ready for that, but it's very, very important to know, as if I'm a seller and I need, I want to go and buy something else, to know whether I can, buy the replacement property without having to sell my current property. And again, it's just, it's very simple to do. I think it's a good thing to do it before you get into the whole contract stuff.
Got it. So what we're talking about, guys, is we're talking about, let's say you're gonna sell your current house, you're gonna go buy another house, and what you can do early in the process, like Karen is saying, instead of waiting until you're in negotiations on the next house, but early in the process, reach out to your loan officer and find out from your loan officer if you have to sell one house in order to buy the next house. Sometimes buyers can qualify to buy the next house without having to sell the current one. In other words, they're able to what we call qualify with both payments. So reach out to your loan officer and find out. Now, if you are able to qualify to buy with both payments, then like what Karen is saying is she, as your agent, that's going to help her to understand how to structure your offer so that you can win, so that you have the winning offer on the house that you find. So, you know, you go out, you find the house, you love this house, you want this house, it's got everything on your list, it checks off all the boxes, and now you want to get this house. And if Karen knows that you can make, like say for example, you know, you might want to make a non-contingent offer. So Karen, tell us a little bit about what a non-contingent offer is, and then we'll talk about kind of like when to use it or when not to use it.
Non-contingent offer on the sale of your property is where you currently own your house and you like house B here, and we can submit an offer without having to have your house up for sale or having to, you know, have a buyer in escrow, none of that stuff. It's pretty straightforward, you know, and a lot of sellers on the other side, because remember, you know, you're being the buyer, it kind of gets a little confusing, but they really like that, you know, that you're not contingent.
Got it. Yeah. So if you are able if you are able to carry both payments, you can qualify to buy the next house without selling your current house. Then in order to submit the winning offer, one of the options that you've got would be to make a non-contingent offer. So you're basically telling that seller, hey, look, I want to buy your house. Here's what I'm offering for it, and I don't have to sell my house in order to buy yours. Now, the thing is they may have other offers. They might even have offers that are coming in for a higher price than what you're offering, but they might be contingent offers. And now there's strings attached. There's another property that has to get sold in order for, you know, the seller's house to get sold. And so sellers a lot of times don't want to deal with all those strings that are attached with contingencies. So if you are able to make a non-contingent offer, that might be something for you to consider. But the reason that we're talking about finding all of these things out as early as possible in the process is because some people just really like to have more time to think about things. And if you're making an offer on this property, let's say that property just came onto the market and it's definitely going to sell. It's a hot property, it's priced right, it's, you know, just something that flies off the shelf. Then you don't really have like a week to think about it. You don't have 5 days to think about it or 3 days to think about it. But if you're the type of person that really likes to sleep on things or maybe sleep on things for a couple of days, now you want to find out very early in the process, can you carry both payments? Will you qualify with both payments? And if you do, give it some consideration. And if you're comfortable with that, let your agent know that you're comfortable making that kind of offer, a non-contingent offer. But hey, if you're not comfortable with it, then don't make that kind of offer. You know, some people just get nervous with the thought of having 2 mortgage payments or having 2 property tax bills or having 2 insurance bills, 2 sets of utilities. Now, of course, if your home is priced right, it's not like you're going to own that. It's not like you're going to have 2 mortgage payments forever. You know, you might have 2 mortgage payments for a month or 2 months at the most. But the thing is it gives you more options if you can qualify with both payments. So that's another thing. So that's something to think about. And as far as qualifying with your loan officer, if you guys aren't familiar with it, we, in addition to helping people buy and sell homes as licensed realtors and also a licensed realtor or a licensed real estate broker, we're also a licensed mortgage broker. And so we help people with the home loan. So we're really familiar with what it takes for somebody to qualify for both payments. Basically, any lender or mortgage broker is going to take a look at the debt to income ratio with both payments in there. And they're going to take a look at your, do you have the minimum down payment, which is usually 3 to 5%, to get into that next home. So those are the two things they're going to look at. And like Karen and I were talking about before we hopped on this video, was something that we're doing more and more of nowadays is what's called a recast. And that's where if you sell your house after you purchase the next house, you can take the proceeds from any amount of your proceeds from the sale of your house and take that and put it towards your next house, or put it towards the loan that you use to buy the next house. And the lender, what they're going to do is they're going to reduce your principal balance, and then they're going to re-amortize your loan over however many payments are left. So let's say you got a 30-year loan and you made 2 payments, and now your old house is sold and you've got the money from it. You can take that money and apply it to the loan. And then if you had made 2 payments, you've got 358 payments left. They're going to amortize it out over those 358 payments. So it's a great way to go. If you want some information about that, just reach out to us. We're happy to provide it. Not every lender offers it. It's not available on government programs. It's not going to be a fit for everybody, but it would be a fit for some folks. And so in case you guys are just joining us, just want to let you know, if you're really serious about buying or selling a home, get in touch with us. If you might want us to help you to buy or sell or get a home loan, you may not. Either way is cool. We're just happy to give you some great advice, point you in the right direction. And you can go to showcasecall.com to schedule a time to talk with us there. And we just want to wrap it up. We're basically just kind of saying, hey, if you're thinking about selling and buying at the same time, one of the first things you want to do is you want to find out if you can qualify for both payments, and then think that over about what that really means, and would you be comfortable making a non-contingent offer. And Karen, like you were saying earlier, as the realtor, knowing that they can make a non-contingent offer can help you when you're structuring their deal. So if you could just kind of like sum that up a little bit more, and then we'll wrap it up.
Well, a contract is a contract, and so whatever you put initially, that's what's gonna go. But you can't just like 3 days later try to change that and say, oh, you know what, I wanted to go contingent now. It just doesn't work like that. Okay,
right.
Now we're
the accepted terms are the accepted terms.
The accepted terms are the accepted terms. And so because they might have had somebody else with the same or equivalent offer as yours and was contingent, and they passed on it because it was contingent, subject to the sale of their replacement property. So they don't like that. So that's why it's very important for us to know how to structure it and what contingencies to add or include in the purchase agreement. And what boxes to check, because there is a box in there. And I've seen it where, as listing agents as well, where I'll get the offers and I'll notice that the other agent is giving me a contingency document, but the box on the residential purchase contract is not checked.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, so do we have one here or do we don't? And, so it's just being diligent about it, doing your due diligence.
Got it. So if you're buying and selling at the same time or roughly around the same time, get with your loan officer early, very, very early in the process. Find out if you can qualify for the next house without selling the current house. And if you can, pass that information along to the agent that's helping you to buy the next house. Discuss that with the agent and figure out if you're going to be comfortable making a non-contingent offer or if you want to stick to a contingent offer, because you want to be comfortable with this process. You don't want to be all stressed out while you're in escrow, worrying that you're going to have 2 mortgage payments, or is your house going to sell or anything like that. Some people have different people have different levels of stress that they're comfortable with. So, and it's really important that you make decisions in this process that you're going to feel good about, So, find out early in the process from your loan officer if you can carry both payments. If you can, figure out if you're comfortable with that. Talk this over with your agent so that your agent knows how they can best work for you to get your offer accepted. And then this isn't going to fit for everybody. So if this sounds great to you, you may or may not qualify for it. Reach out to your loan officer and find out. Find out early in the process so you know what all your options are. That's one of the best ways to get what you want, is to find out what all your options are. All right, so hey, thanks again for joining us. If you're really serious about buying or selling a home, reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. You might want us to help you to buy or sell. You may not. Either way is fine. We'll be happy to give you some great advice, point you in the right direction. And you can just go to showcasecall.com to schedule a time for us to talk if this sounds interesting to you. So, hey, thanks again for joining us. Have an awesome day. Take care.
Bye.